If you are one of the many who were shocked by the revelations that the NSA has been intercepting and recording all of your communications data, you should also know that this is hardly the first documented case of this happening. The United States, specifically its intelligence agencies, have been spying on American citizens as far back as 1945 with Project Shamrock, which intercepted upwards of 150,000 telegrams a month from Western Union, RCA, and ITT. These messages were intercepted and scanned for anything and everything that might be of interest to the FBI, CIA, Secret Service, Bureau of Narcotics and Dangerous Drugs, or the Department of Defense, and no court orders or warrants were issued for any of it. It was actually the revelation of this secret program in 1975 that led to the creation of the FISA, Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act of 1978, and the USSID-18, U.S. Signals Intelligence Directive procedures issued in 1980. Now, as you can plainly see, all of this far predates the start of the War on Terror, officially kicking off in September of 2001, making it pretty clear that these programs are not the result of terrorist attacks or threats against the American people, but for an entirely different agenda altogether. It's also important to realize that although they've been doing this for decades, the monitoring, recording, and disseminating of data is continually improving at breakneck speeds, and the NSA and other intelligence agencies are capable of more and more every year, enabling them to create and maintain an ever more accurate profile of each and every citizen of the United States and the world over for that matter. Your likes, your dislikes, your friends, your enemies, your loved ones, your secret desires, your secret secrets, that one thing you don't tell anyone, and so on. The current NSA surveillance system not only breaches the 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th Amendments of the American Constitution, but they also breach the FISA protocols as well, which was set up to protect us from these very things. So, when the number one reason for justifying these programs is revealed to be a complete fabrication, what then? Do the American people like being lied to by the people they elect to run the country? Or do they prefer to ignore evidence and pretend that everything is fine the way it is? It must be one or the other. If you're just not sure, then research this stuff and see what's been documented already. If you still want to stay out of it, you are free to do that as well. Some of the Germans turned a blind eye to what was happening, and then they all made history. Part 1. The path to victory is fraught with danger. How we got here. I think we'd all agree that money, specifically the lust for money, leads to greed, corruption, and exploitation. It has historically been the catalyst that brings out the worst in humanity. However, a lot of our problems now go beyond the monetary system itself because the financial system has been rigged and corruption is at the very core of world governments. The sad and happy truth is, the world is most likely not near as dangerous as we are led to believe, and people are quite possibly more inclined to cooperate and work together to achieve a better quality of life for themselves and their children, even if they hold ideological differences. But humanity, specifically the humanity of the Western world, has been poisoned and manipulated into a state of hatred, selfishness, and distrust of everyone else. We are now faced with such a huge chasm to cross. The core of humanity will be tested to its limits. It looks like we're facing totalitarian suppression, societal collapse, or the worst-case scenario, the annihilation of the human species. Great physicists predicted that there could be 3 stages of existence for intelligent life. Stage 1. The ability to harness the entire planet's renewable energy sources for a fully sustainable ecosystem and ongoing civilization. Man must work as one in this system. Nation-on-nation conflicts will have to be a thing of the past. Stage 2. The ability to harness the entire energy output of the nearest star. Stage 3. The ability to harness the entire energy output of the entire galaxy. The theory of which is currently beyond our grasp to comprehend or understand. Modern human civilization is not even at stage 1 yet. This time, as it's described in the theory of intelligent civilizations, is the most dangerous time for any species to exist. The transition from stage 0 to stage 1, having harnessed the science and technology to destroy the planet and one another, leaves humanity precariously on the verge of self-annihilation. One looming question remains: how many species have successfully completed the transition? Part 2. Our sad state of affairs. I weep for all humanity. What you're seeing is a lost nation that's afraid of its own shadow. The more scared people are, the more violent the society becomes. The years of national propaganda, the ever-looming threat of terror from abroad, the divisive culture fighting itself with a bipartisan political system, a society that fears its own government and a government that buries itself in secrecy, all in the name of securing profit for corporate America, has taken its toll. This is the world we built. The voices of reason have for too long been ignored, belittled, and ostracized. The sad reality we in fact face is the governments in control are routinely committing atrocious crimes against humanity, little of which is known to the public. The full disclosure of which will likely never happen, as it would be the end of our entire system of government as we know it, our recovery from which is extremely remote in the best of cases. Having said that, if the government observes an overwhelming unity among the people that could challenge to bring down the system, they will likely set off a full-blown Third World War, of which is likely to include nuclear arms conflict, to scatter, confuse, and retain their power through brute force. It's a cheater's game. The second you are in a position to win, they will tip the board over. Part 3. Remember the mother that lifted a car off her child? It's not over yet. I've been told there is a growing number of those that agree with this outlook for the most part. This is the one time I wish I wasn't right. Anger and fear-mongering has been used against the public by the institutional powers for years to control the masses, to submit us into a state of docile obedience and unquestioning loyalty. The difference is, the public itself is now angry, frustrated, and more aware than ever of the disparity between the very few that control the majority and the average citizen. All of which is accomplished through financial oppression, misinformation, and rigged socio-economic systems. Also, it's worth noting that anger is not inherently bad. Although it can be used for nefarious purposes, both fear and anger are inherently human traits and the prime motivational factors that drive us to do what we do. When both fear and anger are harnessed, they can also motivate people to accomplish great things. Love and compassion are essential human traits. But there is no doubt that fear and anger are the primary forces directing the course of humanity for better or for worse. When the public works together towards a greater cause, great things can be accomplished. We've done so in the past and will continue to do so well into the future. As history has shown, there is only one inevitability, that all powers fall eventually. Alas, if we can accept things the way that they are, and look at the situation as objectively as possible, we may be able to come to a new conclusion. It all starts with acceptance so as to weed out any idealistic notions that could lead people down a fruitless and dangerous path. Optimism is great, but too much and misplaced can cause even greater harm. Everything in moderation, as they say, except bravery, of course. We need plenty of that. Thank you for listening. Please feel free to share this message with others. It's time to wake up.